If I had to start my YouTube channel all over again, I would do a lot of things differently. From choosing the right name to avoiding burnout, I've made some mistakes that definitely slowed down my growth. But today, I'm sharing everything that I do differently so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. And let me tell you, some of these lessons were painful, but if you're just starting out, or even if you're just a small YouTuber struggling to grow, this video is going to help you make smarter choices from the beginning. All right, let's get into it. Tip number 1. Stick to one channel name. Do you want to know what one of my biggest mistakes were? I changed my channel name 3 different times in the time span of just 5 months. I went from Mile High Gardener to Wandering with Tony, and now I'm here at Homesteading with Tony. And this hurt my growth for a number of different reasons. First of all, every time I changed it, I lost subscribers who didn't recognize the new name. It confused YouTube's algorithm, making it much harder for my videos to rank. It even messed with my ability to get into Amazon's affiliate program because my branding kept changing. I applied to Amazon affiliates under the name of Mile High Gardener, and I had changed it by the time they actually got around to reviewing my application, so they had to deny my application. So what would I do differently? I would pick a name once and stick with it. I would make sure it's a broad enough name to allow flexibility, and I'll get into that in just a little bit here. Let me know down in the comments, have you ever changed your name, or are you thinking about it? I'd love to hear about your experiences and if you either gained or lost followers because of the name change. Tip number 2, choose a broad channel name. Kind of going along with number 1, I started as Mile High Gardener, which sounds great if all I wanted to do was talk about gardening, but the problem was that this is a super niche, and the name really locked me in. So if I wanted to post about chickens, quail, or homesteading, or my dogs, or my cats, or whatever, I would definitely risk losing subscribers. And the fix for this, a broad name like Homesteading with Tony, lets me cover gardening, chickens, quail, DIY projects, anything that I really want to post about that has to do with homesteading. This keeps my audience engaged while allowing me to explore different content. The lesson here, pick a name that gives you room to grow. Tip number 3, I would only post twice a week to avoid burnout. At first, when I started this about a year ago, I was cranking out 3 to 4 videos a week, and you know what happened? I never got a break. So this was bad for several different reasons, and the first reason is that posting too much equals constant filming, constant editing, and no time to recharge. Burnout is real, and once you burn out, it's very hard to stay consistent after that. YouTube rewards consistency over quantity, so if you're consistently pumping out 1 video per week, you're going to get a lot more results than if you upload 4 videos for 1 week and then you don't post again for, let's say, 4 months or something like that. So what would I do differently? I would post 2 long-form videos twice per week, and if I had extra content, I would just schedule it out ahead. This would give me more time to relax instead of just posting everything at once and then having to go quickly make more videos. Have you guys ever gone full steam ahead on a project only to hit a wall? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. Step number 4, set up your financials at 500 subscribers. Did you guys know that it can take weeks to set up your YouTube payment info? I definitely didn't. The big mistake that a lot of people make is waiting until they get to 1,000 subscribers to start setting up their AdSense accounts. Just know that this can take a couple different weeks, so set that up as soon as you get to 500 subscribers. The reason for this is that you want to get paid as soon as you can. So as soon as you hit 1,000 subscribers, you want to have your AdSense already set up. Don't make my mistake. Get your payment stuff set up early so you don't miss out on revenue. Tip number 5. Don't tell your friends and family about your channel. I know this one sounds weird, but please hear me out. The problem with telling your friends and family about your YouTube channel isn't that it's cringy for them to watch you. It's that they're going to subscribe to your channel, but a lot of times they're not going to actually watch your videos, which is going to hurt your analytics. YouTube then is going to go ahead and recommend your videos to the wrong audience, which is going to reduce your reach. So what you want to do instead of inviting your friends and family to subscribe to your YouTube channel is only share your YouTube channel with people who will actually watch your content. You want to focus on organic audience growth rather than personal subscriptions. Have you ever told your friends and family about your channel? Did it help you? Did it hurt you? Let me know down here in the comments. I'm curious to hear. Tip number 6, I would invest in a good mic and good lighting immediately. I waited way too long to upgrade my audio and lighting, and I regret it. You can go back to watch my older videos and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When you have bad audio, this is going to lead to people clicking off immediately. If you have good lighting, you're going to get better video quality even if you are working with a budget camera or a smartphone. So if I had to make a priority list, I would number 1, invest in a decent microphone. I use the Rode microphone. I can put a link down in the description. And I would just get a simple lighting setup. Just get like 2 softbox LED lights. And that's all you really need to go ahead and get started. Even with a phone camera, good lighting and audio make a huge difference. I promise you that. Tip number 7, post more shorts. I wish I'd started making YouTube shorts sooner, and shorts are important for a number of different reasons. So first of all, it's a fast way to reach new audiences, and second, It helps boost views on your long form content when people check out your channel. If I had to narrow it down, my ideal posting schedule would be 2 long form videos a week and 2 shorts a week. I would do a long form and then a short and then a long form and a short every other day, and then give your channel a couple days off of posting. Tip number 8, post what you want, not just what's popular. So at the end of the day, your channel should be about what you love. And passion matters for a couple different reasons. If you're not excited, your audience can tell. Burnout happens fast if you force yourself into trends. I think it's important that everybody knows that passionate creators build loyal communities. It's just a fact. So if I could go back and do it differently, I would have just focused on what I enjoy creating, not just what gets views. And I think I've done much better at that lately. Some of my recent videos don't get as many views. I have a lot more fun creating them. Tip number 9. I don't want you to find this one out the hard way. Don't use background music in your videos. I don't care if you paid for it or if you downloaded it online on a different site, and there's a few different reasons for this. So even if you buy the rights to music, YouTube's AI can still flag it, and if it's flagged, you cannot monetize the video. You can claim you have all the rights you want, but you will not get monetized for the video. So the solution is skip the music or use YouTube's free audio library. My channel is definitely at risk for losing earnings because of this, so trust me, avoid using music unless you're getting it directly from YouTube, then it's generally okay. And finally, number 10, skip the intro, just get to the point. You know what people hate? People hate long intros. And when I first started out, I was using longer intros and intros in general. So what happened when I stopped using intros? Well, a couple things happened. First of all, my watch time increased significantly, and second of all, more people stayed past the first 30 seconds of my videos, which really helped my analytics. So a better strategy, just jump straight into the content with no fluff. It makes everything a lot better. So if I had to start over, these are the top 10 things that I would do differently. Hopefully this helps you avoid the mistakes that I made, and I want to hear from you. Comment down below, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned on YouTube? Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you found this educational or entertaining. Again, guys, my name is Tony, and until next time, stay cool.